Hello everyone, I'm here today with a flip-through video. This is the first flip-through that I am doing for my Canada 2024 album, and right now I think my plan is to do it day by day because we saw 4 cities and we were there 8 days. Each city has a huge number of photos and I'm only through day 1 which was Toronto, and I already have quite a few layouts, so I'm going to show all of those today. And just to let you know, this album is a 6x12 one that I got from Rita. They are a company that's out of Spain, and they're one of the few companies I have found who will produce 6x12 albums. So if you're looking for that, check them out. The only problem is that if you're like in the US or Canada, the shipping is going to be huge. It used to be reasonable. Now it's gotten so bad, you'd really have to spend like at least $125 probably to make that shipping worth it. So this may be the last 6x12 I do because I just can't get the albums that I really like. All right, so let's get started. This is one of the things I love about this album is it has this on the inside. It's so cool. I actually have 2 of these. I used a different one or another one for a different project, and then I have this one that is all for Canada. And as you can see, there's my opening page. And I used to hate doing different size layouts in albums. Now I love it. So I actually have a 6x8 to start off. I kept it relatively simple. I used a nice pattern paper. I wanted kind of a muted look, and this all came like from a kit of stuff that I had. I can't think of who makes it. I think the line is called Travelogue, hence this here. It has a little bit more of a muted look. I normally don't like vintagey type stuff very much. This one, it walked a fine line, and I was okay with it. So I used some of those items here, and then I just used some older brown letter stickers that I had that just happened to match. And on the back side of this, in the beginning I wasn't quite sure what to do there. I just needed to fill with something kind of to get me started, and so I decided to do our itinerary. Since we did hit so many cities, it's kind of nice to see them laid out like this with the dates where we were in each one. So I have Toronto, Ottawa, Quebec City, Montreal. We flew into Toronto out of Montreal. That's why we did these last 2 kind of out of order. Quebec City is actually the furthest away, and then we came back to Montreal, but it's because it's a much bigger airport and they had better flights. But on this page, very simple. I just used a super busy background, so I didn't need much. A couple of stickers, some other pattern paper with a subtle pattern on it, and then these phrase strip stickers, and called it good. So this is my first full 6x12 page, and I made use of all those pockets. I've got a couple of pocket cards. I even have an acrylic embellishment here that's actually a plain. I've had it for a long time, so it was fun to finally be able to use it. Some washi. I got lucky that a digital set that I bought for Canada had some of the airport codes in it. So I do have the one for Toronto, which I used here, and I have the one for Montreal, and it is my plan to use that later. You can see here I actually did a little stamping too right at the bottom. So we quickly went to our hotel, just dropped our bags off so we didn't have to take those out in the city because it was pretty early in the day still. And then we wanted to get right out in the city. So you can see this full 6x8, or I'm sorry, 6x12 as well. It's very, very busy. We saw such eclectic things in terms of architecture and just the city vibe and all that, that I wanted to give a good mix. So you can kind of see an older style here, you know, but yet modern buildings behind. And again, I kept it simple because this was so busy. So, you know, a couple of phrases. I did a little bit of stamping there. I didn't add anything to this up top. That was all there, but I did add that little sticker that says "so much to see." And then I added these on my journaling card because I'd already journaled. I didn't need to do that twice. So I just checked off the boxes that were applicable and put on the stickers. Our first major stop of the day was St. Michael's Cathedral. We walked this entire day. So we put on 11.5 miles, never used the tram. The only train we used was to go from the airport into Toronto to the train station there and then get out and go to our hotel. Otherwise it was all walking. So we made our rounds of the city, that's for sure. So you can see the outside here, and again, a lot happening, various colors. This yellow was it was a challenge to deal with. So when I found this card, it was perfect. But otherwise, just a little phrase here, this puffy sticker here as an asterisk. That's it, because I wanted these to stand out on their own. And And then once we went inside St. Michael's, oh my gosh, it was so incredibly beautiful. I mean, as you can see, this side I decided there was some darker blue here, and so I decided to run with that color. So I was able to find 2 cards that worked well, and this is appropriate for what we were doing and how we felt in there. And then here I have a sticker sheet from Sticko that's all ornate crosses like this, because when I travel I tend to visit a lot of churches because I like the architecture and the art that they have. So I was able to find one that I thought worked well with this and slap that on there. That's it. Normally I do a lot more embellishing. I would put more phrases or just little stickers on each pocket, but I really didn't feel like this needed it. This says enough on its own. So to have 2 cards, journaling, and 1 sticker, I think that's plenty. Then I chose to do a couple of 6x8 enlargements and make them the whole page because they were just so stunning. So here's the first one. And again, all I did was do 1 piece of ephemera. That's it. And I was trying to pick out that blue in the glass, and then I already had blue over here. And they don't necessarily have to go together, but I don't want them to really clash. So I figured if I went blue, that was kind of a safe bet. And then on this side, because the ceiling was showcased so well, I wanted to go with that teal color, almost like peacock color. And I was able to find this piece of ephemera, and that was perfect. It even has pink, and there's some pink, kind of coral pink color up there. So I felt like that worked really well. And then moving on to more photos inside the cathedral, here I wanted to pick out the red because I thought these candles were just so gorgeous and a fairly neutral background. So I wanted to pick that out. There's also some red here in the stained glass. So I felt like that was safe. 1 card for journaling, that's all I needed. I added that puffy sticker, 1 here, and this little just like arrow piece I had cut it off from something else that I used. I don't even know that it was in this album. I think it was a different one, but it was laying on my desk. And so I thought, well, why not use it if I have it? And I think it matched really well. And our next major stop was Allen Gardens. And again, we walked in between, so we saw lots of things in between. And I will have other places where I'm going to put those miscellaneous city shots. But I wanted to just get right to these flowers because they were so incredibly gorgeous. This was inside the conservatory. So as you can see, I took lots of close-ups too, and I wanted to include all of those. And I got lucky that purple was one of their main colors they use in the display. So I found this card. I layered on this 3D embellishment. Again, minimal other things. Couple of phrase stickers, that's it. And then on this side, again, they don't have to go together, but I wanted them to feel somewhat cohesive. So here I went with red tones and a coral. And I had pictures that represented that. I was able to find some things that worked with it, plus the black and white. Because of course, black and white goes with everything. And this was done digitally in Canva, and then I enhanced it with these extra things. On this side, I chose to do a digital layout as well. So this was done, this one I don't think, no, it was done in Canva. I was thinking maybe it was Project Life, but this was done in Canva as well. So I have that one. I just dropped in this digital card I had. I love the gradient there, the ombre look. And again, I picked out red. I had this little embellishment, so I thought, why not just use it? And that's all that space really needed. And then I just wanted to put a note on there because I did take a photo that had the sign that said Queen's Park, but it was blue. It didn't really go with anything else, so I didn't want to put it in there and have it be a weird color that didn't go. So I decided just to do this instead. And then here I actually have a 3x12 page, and normally when I do these, they come from larger pages that I cut down that I'm not going to use. It's hard to find them made just like this. Actually, I can't think of anybody that makes just this. So usually it's extra page protectors I have. I just cut them down, so this is what I'm left with, and it works great. So here I only really had these 2 photos for our quick late lunch, so I wanted to get those in there. I had a fun card that was about pizza, so it worked really well. And then on this side, we were off to the Art Gallery of Ontario. We spent quite a bit of time there, and I have lots of pictures coming here in just a minute. I did pare down though, I was careful. But the outside, I just dropped in a cool kind of vintagey ornate card I had because I felt like it matched well with the way this table is embellished here. And really, I chose pink, not because it was in anything here. It was because it was in this guy's shirt, and the girl is wearing a pink skirt as well. So I tried to somewhat make them go together. And this is the brochure that we were given, and so I wanted to showcase the front since it had a really nice graphic, clean writing on it. And then on the back, I chose kind of some wild paper to enhance the ticket that I had, and I think that worked out pretty well using that and then matting the ticket. And then more inside the museum here. Again, I was trying to match the blues that were in both of these photos, so I chose this. I had this as a sticker left from a museum I went to in Belgium, actually. It was a lot of medieval stuff, and so I thought, well, that's kind of perfect for what we're looking at, so I used one of those that just happened to have blue and yellow, so it matched. And when we were done looking in those areas, we decided to go to the Impressionists, of course, because that's a favorite for both of us. So I have a couple of paintings here that all had kind of similar style and color. And so really, I didn't need to do much. I added one phrase strip and a little gold star just because it worked with the frames, and that was enough there. And then we left there, we walked some more, and we went to go have dinner because our ticket slot for the CN Tower was not till later. So we had enough time to have dinner first. I chose to do this as a collage as well because I had so many photos, and I chose to highlight the pink that was in my friend's sweater and just make that kind of work with what was happening. And actually, I'm really happy with the simplicity of it, but how the colors all came together. And on this side, much more kind of black, white, red, which is totally fine. That's what I wanted. I happened to have this from a digital set. It already said CN Tower, and it was red for Canada, so that's perfect. So everything matched. I had already done the journaling in Canva, so all I had to do was slap on that rhinestone. And these are obviously from when we were up in the CN Tower. So I have that going there. These are some night shots. And I just realized I think I'm missing a layout. I had day shots. Other than these, unless I chose not to put them in here. I'll have to see if I have them laying around somewhere. Maybe I just incorporated these and that was enough. All right, I actually just looked. I don't have other photos. I had two 4x6s that I was contemplating doing back to back and doing as an insert, and I didn't do it. So this is it. So back to this, you can see our night views there. This is another page protector that did not come like this. It's a Becky Higgins one from Project Life, and there was something else over here. I don't remember the exact configuration, but I cut it off to get what I wanted. So it's totally fine to do that. So if you need to do it, don't feel bad about it. And some more night shots over here. Now I did make these two to go together. I wanted them to be a double page. I freaking love the colors in here. I timed this. It changes color. So I stood there and waited to make sure I could get the colors I wanted. And then I just ended up finding some great stuff in my stash of travel things that worked really well. And then this is another photo that I decided to enlarge, just a city view of when we were leaving the CN Tower and walking back to our hotel. It was relatively close. And I chose to do a slightly 3D sticker here that with glitter. I wanted it just to add pop, but I didn't want it to be super thick, so this was perfect. A couple of phrases, some washi that has like international postmarks on it, and it's gold, which really fits with what I was doing. And now technically this is the next morning, it starts the next day, but I have it done, so I'm going to include it here. But it just shows our hotel. We didn't quite realize it was going to be this fancy when we picked it. We just needed something, because by the time we booked, it was getting close and like lots of stuff was taken. So we booked it and we ended up really, really loving it. And I was able to use some fun pieces of ephemera I had. And then these were actually from stickers that are, I believe, meant to look like New York. That's what I've used them for previously. But I thought they fit with this too, so I used them. But now at least you've seen everything I've done through day one of Toronto. And I feel like that's a good start for Canada. Thanks for watching.